Barnes & Noble. I'm sorry. This is I'm reading you an abridged version of this epistolary essay I wrote, and then a couple pieces. So, didn't know what to call this one, but after what happened, I called it Question of the Green Light Infidelity. You can't make this stuff up. This is really sturdy.
I know, I'm just a little scared.
I can get you this other volume if you want to say how you.
Oh, that's cool. I'm good, thank you. Like I said, I'll give you the abridged version. I timed myself reading the entirety of it, and it took about 15 minutes. Not going to put you wonderful people through that. Dear slightly self-conscious self, I'm about to present you with a juvenile tale of hilarity and intrigue. Feel free to read this whenever you feel that your life's sunlight begins to dim a few shades darker than usual. Although this is your first attempt at an epistolary essay, please note that this is not your first attempt at amateur journalism. If anything, it is a documentation of the senses when caught in a state of mind that is much too peculiar to describe, let alone pinpointed on parchment. It is a brief but detailed recollection of a series of moments witnessed by your pair of curious eyes as well as numerous others. It is an icebreaker that can lead to multiple possibilities as well as multiple outcomes. Decide for yourself, dearest reader. A relationship ended on the road this evening. In the plainest and simplest terms, that is what I witnessed and viewed through my 17-year-old windshield. And then it goes into this lovely little tangent, and then boom. On the slightly drizzling Wednesday night, I was driving from a work-related meeting to meet my father for an early dinner. Since my favorite half of the year began with daylight savings time last Saturday night, I have been basking in the joyous wonderment of darkness, welcoming the night an hour earlier. Darkness feels more peaceful to me. I did not have a clear mind when this unexpected cinematic encounter occurred. I already had a menagerie of thoughts swimming in my torrential waters beneath my chaotic motel mind, for I seldom, let alone never, think about one solitary thought. It is during this event that reaffirmed and enhanced my automotive vendetta. It is not so much the contraptions themselves, but rather the people inside the cars. Certain individuals still have yet to realize that vehicles are 2 to 8 ton death machines. My misanthropy flared a tad at the mere pondering of this. Though it is wasted energy, one cannot help but feel disgusted when a reckless driver treats the various roads like it is his or her own personal video game. Mine is beating certain individuals to death with a splintered baseball bat. Thank you, Grand Theft Auto. At a particularly busy intersection, where the light is green for about 8 nanoseconds and the light is red for 8 years, the unthinkable happened to me and the surrounding rush hour drivers who were anxious to arrive at their abodes. An ivory van that sat diagonal towards the left from me opened its passenger door. An emotionally disturbed couple was having a heated and non-domestic squabble that was obviously going nowhere. The couple consisted of 2 disheveled miscreants. The passenger, a man who looks like he recently exited the 4-year prison sentence that is high school, and in the driver's seat, a woman who looked 5 to 10 years older than him. Let us call the woman Jive Turkey number 1 and the man Jive Turkey number 2. I would have called them guilty party victim and guilty party perpetrator, but who is who? Let us avoid the perplexed philosophy. I entered this situation unbiased, and unless I had the opportunity to obtain any information, that is how I was going to exit it. I'm sure they both have splendid names, but who in the blazes cares at this point? On the road, an individual is nothing but a schmuck to me. Harsh? Oh yes. Still, one cannot help but wonder. So Jive Turkey number 2 was quite thin. So thin that the faceless slender man would take one look at him and demand that he go to McDonald's. Aside from listening to fragments of the argument, which was possibly their last, I needed no conclusive evidence to prove that this relationship was about to come to a screeching halt in a few ways. As tragic as the entirety of this calamity was, the rapid minutes that followed contained the finest quality of amusement, though amusement might be an understatement. I began to speculate that there might have been infidelity afoot. Judging by the actions taken, she pushed Jive Turkey number 2 out of the vehicle, though he tried with all his might to stay inside, what with the current weather situation and the ever-growing congested line of rush hour drivers. This predicament was obviously too much for him to handle. Just then, something happened that put the odds against him more so than ever. The stoplight turned green. The look on his face went from annoyed to sheer terror. The lovely and radiant Miss Jive Turkey number 1 took the action that any rational human being would take. She began to drive. Slowly at first, but picked up speed within seconds. The army of moronic drivers behind her honked their horns with fury. Blast loudly all automobile trumpets. I wanted to join in the merriment and be horny, pun most definitely intended. But because my vehicle is in a constant state of deterioration and the horn doesn't work, that wasn't possible. As she drove with this blank stone face, he held onto the door handle for dear life. Picture a person tubing and holding it like that, with his seemingly lifeless lower half of the body dragging itself on the uneven pavement. Finally, he let himself go, whether he was fully aware of his fate or not. To reach the other side of the road to salvation, he was now required to deal with one too many pairs of evil eyes glowing in the dusk tonight's setting, mine included. It was nothing personal against him or his significant other, for I was nothing but a fascinated and increasingly amused and entertained social observer. My dislike for people in vehicles rose that evening, considering I disliked this couple no more than I disliked virtually every other driver. Cynical and misanthropic, you might think? Absolutely. However, it has kept me alive and well for just over a decade. I encourage this public mantra to every person out there. Trust no driver but yourself. It has worked wonders for me quite well. She left him stranded. For his sakes, I hope he knew this area quite well, with or without nocturnal vision. Anyhow, from my rearview mirror, I saw the deeply disturbed Jive Turkey number 2 cross the street to the other side as Jive Turkey number 1 sped away into the ether of madness. As I pulled into my destination, I hypothesized about 3 distinct possible scenarios. First, Jive Turkey number 2, a man of very little brain, committed the inhuman act of infidelity or an equally greater action. Everyone has circumstances when it comes to cheating, but it is still inhuman. Secondly, Jive Turkey number 1 was just absolutely psychotic. Finally, the relationship was entirely too toxic, and that was the way to sever ties. I thought of so many more, but why go through each detail on paper when the rawness in the mind is bittersweet on its own? Perhaps they were not in a relationship at all, and they were related in some twisted and demented way. I have made my opinionated conclusion on the matter. Feel free to manifest your own. So there you have it, slightly self-conscious self. When you feel that your life has burdened you with misfortune, read this and may your troubles instantly dissipate. Most sincerely, your insignificant holder of the pen. That's right. That's right. So I'm going to try and keep the pattern going. I'm going to find something about rain.
Oh, and I was like, hi, turkey.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Number 2.
Yeah, I sincerely wish you were all there to see it. That was just... It was
So funny. I was in the van.
half perilous, half hilarious. I needed to see that. I felt like. Let's see. Oh well, guess I'll have to break the cycle. How many are you familiar with the Ouroboros symbol? Awesome. So, to the people who do not know, please explain.
It is a dragon in a circle eating its tail, and it's a symbol of reserve.
That's right. That's right. Heaven forbid if the dragon were to let go, chaos would ensue. It's that bad, you know. So this is just called Ouroboros. And the dragon spins round and round, balancing revolution. War on life as we know it hurtles through the cosmos, breaks through the adolescent barrier, and lands before our eyes and willful fingertips. We are what we are, motivated to slaughter and incinerate. And the dragon spins round and around, balancing our allotted amount of air. Craving of flesh as we picture it, eats away as an internal parasite would, dilate the pupils and fight back. The Greek world began in chaos, but ours will end in a complete convulsion. The lovers giveth and the lovers taketh away. And the dragon spins round and round, balancing head and body counts. Let the search unfurl. Red flag, white towel, blue in the mouth, yellow like the interior amphibian, sexual charades on a wooden floor underneath Neil's mirror ball, or a tribal dance around a campfire of nativity. They read the digital news today, hot boy! And the dragon spins round and round, balancing royals in heat. When the wyvern bites the tail, all is well in the electric current. When the wyvern watches the skies, aware of 7 billion well-beings, all is glistening just north of mystical embodiments of life masks. Sigh of disbelief, you still have us for a thumb-sucking undertow. And the dragon spins round and round, balancing a closet rebellion. Yes. And last but not least, because most of you know me as a sap, we're going to find something like that.
Like maple or pine?
Yeah, see what you did there? Ja, ja, ja. You have another one where you're going to have to send me to the penitentiary. Oh my God.
Are you a pine or a poetry?
Oh! Next time somebody tells you that puns are the lowest form of wit, tell them that poetry is verse. Okay. Come on. Where is it? Not that one, not that one. No, not that one. Okay, let me just close the earlier ones. There's more faith in those. Let's see. Okay. So I actually sent this to Guy a while back. Some of you may have heard it, and it's actually dedicated to women who are fighting cancer and just disease in general. And it's called Through Her Warrior Eyes. She sees victory. She sees evil being vanquished. Through her warrior eyes, all that seems improbable will be accomplished within a matter of seconds. As the faithless blindly walk on the desolate scribbled path of indecisiveness, she gift wraps the power to believe, hands it to them, then rides on, leaving behind a trail of inspiration. Those who do not doubt will see its glow. Its glow stretches far beyond any rainbow, penetrating the nearest body of water. She converses at times with the Lady of the Lake, but does not need Excalibur to conquer this war of the century. Through a golden heart and strength of steel, she will crush this faceless enemy single-handedly, defeating every sneak attack and ruthless comeback without breaking a single drop of perspiration. The supremacy of love is on her side. The commanding call is spoken through her words. Give it hell and do not give it a moment's thought. To the populace who have hope, look to her. Keep your eyes on her, and clouds undulating above will answer the request of the unbelievable. Continue your everyday journey. To the sordid nightmare who tries to triumph over the fighter, you will never succeed. Retreat to whatever cavern you crawled out of. You will not stand a chance against her, for she will flick you off her shoulder like the insignificant pest you are. There shall be no more scrimmages here. She has the power to redefine the impossible. Through abiding tenacity, the entirety of this brawl will be a glimpse of valor, won fair and square, seen through the eyes of a warrior.